Today we're getting down to the half-bloomed rose. It's still a bud though. And I will again show you the best way to draw the sketch of it, in my opinion. So we start with large general masses. With a light pressure of the pencil we draw rough outlines. See, I made a mistake with the tilt. Because professionals make mistakes, often. But I can rotate the reference photo to make it easier for you to compare. When the general outline is hinted at, we can draw smaller shapes within the large shapes. First, the petal that is better seen and understood, and is much easier to draw. Then the one that is a little more complicated. It's wrapped at this point, so we have to check carefully with the reference. And I made a mistake with this petal too, and it should have ended here. Now, with a lot of pencil pressure, I trace the line where I'm sure they are drawn correctly. So to see better the final result and not to get lost in all those loose lines. And just like last time, we sort of put the green leaves on the bud. I got the second leaf wrong. Lowering it down would be more accurate. As always, we move from large and simple shapes to smaller and more complex ones. I immediately separate the lightened part from the shadow part, although it could be done later when all the leaves are drawn. But today I'm in such a mood that I'm breaking the sequence. But this is how the shadow is distributed across the bud. And I'll move the image to accommodate this leaf. And this leaf is longer than it should be, but that's okay, it's perfectly acceptable. And there is a strip of light on the edge, which I will ignore later. But still, we should try to notice such peculiarities. Well, since I'm more comfortable today drawing on silk with a disappearing marker, I'll quickly repeat the process. This is a no-name marker. I got it at a store for sewing supplies. Its advantage is that it fades away during painting without a trace. And when my silk is dense enough, like today's crepe de chine, I prefer markers like this instead of putting the pattern under the silk as I usually do. And drawing the same rosebud a second time, I can consider my mistakes and correct them. The part on the left was painted in the first video on the rosebud. You might be curious to watch it too. And this rosebud was painted in the second video. I decided to show you everything in a logical sequence, from simple to complex. The unopened bud, the next stage of its development, today the half-opened one, and next time there will be an opened rose. I don't know which one yet. So the die set is the same as last time: turquoise, yellow, crimson and dark warm green. Look, first I only have two parts, light and dark, and in general you can stop at this stage if you find all the following steps difficult. Next step, we can highlight this petal by drawing a shadow underneath it. I dry my brush when I feel it's too wet. And don't worry that I got magenta on the leaf, that's how I usually paint. But here's this shadow that feels like a lot, so I wet it with water and dry it with porous paper, but it doesn't always work, so I repeat it and it's a little better that way. If you mix the magenta with green, you get a brownish hue. I use it to make the shadow darker. I'll leave the bud for now and start on the leaves. See, the resist is leaking paint in this spot, so I'm not touching it yet, letting the paint dry a bit. Ideally, of course, I should have circled the resist again, but that would have taken a while. My brush is pretty dry right now, and I don't paint near the resist line. The dye will flow there later, on its own. And this is what it looks like up close. With leaves, everything is quite simple. You can fill them first with light green, like in last video, then add dark green in the shadows. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, maybe you even liked it, because every reaction you give helps move it forward. I appreciate everyone who leaves comments, who shares the videos, who likes. You are a huge help to the channel, and thank you very much again. And still I decided to make this leaf darker. I hope it will not bleed on the bud. And now for the finishing touches, which you can skip too. But since the reference picture has this light green inside the bud, I'll put it in there too. But the lightest spot is right here, so to keep it light I need to make the area around it a little darker. And it's always interesting to see how light and shadow are distributed on these wavy edges. This is the rosebud we got today. So we have 3 stages of growth of the rose. And next time we will paint a blooming rose somewhere around this point. Good luck with your silk painting, and I'll see you.